What's good, y'all, man? Welcome to Prolific Group Podcast. Been a good little minute, hasn't it, y'all?
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Had a nice little trip to Cancun.
Whee! Hold on.
To say certain obligations were made in Cancun, man. I'm gonna let Asia speak on that a little bit, but it seems like she got a nice little pair of jewels, nice little crown jewels. You wanna show it off for the camera? Pretty little thing, ain't it?
He proposed to me in Cancun.
Match made. All right.
Guess I'm gonna take it, man. But getting back to the podcast, this is gonna be an interesting topic. But before I tell you what we're gonna talk about, somebody here ain't supposed to be here.
Exactly.
Oh, wait a minute. I think it's
Speak up, project, introduce yourself.
I think certain introductions are made because ain't she your friend?
Yes, this is my friend and my line sister, Crystal. Hi, Crystal.
Hi.
And y'all better be nice to my friend.
They will.
Well, I for one didn't help.
Well, I Shit.
Well, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about
I don't even know. I never know how to answer that. Crystal, Asia's blind sister. We've known each other about 6 years now.
Maybe.
Yeah, six, 7-ish. So.
Totally. It's awesome.
Wow. You know what? I didn't have to come here to be attacked. Okay. Yeah. That's it. I don't know what to say.
That was a professor-asked question.
Well,
Right.
according to Asia, we don't attack, we address.
you. Right. Well, I was definitely looking for things more along the lines of, you did good with I'm Crystal, but, tell us what you like, what you don't like, what you're good at. You know what I'm saying? I know you're good at something. You got to be good at something because you're still here, you're still breathing, you're still kicking. You're just important. Come on.
I'm good at going to my therapy sessions.
Okay, I'll
Every
take
2
that.
weeks.
I will take that. See,
That.
you are somebody who takes pride in self-care. So you know what? That is good for you and that is a great quality. Glad to have you on the show.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, definitely. So, we have a very, very interesting topic today. It seems that there's been a lot of little increments in regards to love, especially in regards to how we love and how others love, even on a gender basis and on a personal basis. So the topic that I wanted to address today is, are we capable of loving each other unconditionally? Or would you rather say that we only love each other on the context of what another person can provide? Crystal, what do you feel about that? What's your stance?
My stance on that is that I don't think you can love someone unconditionally because there's always going to be a situation that comes up that's going to make you question yourself if you can really, can you still love that person? And if you can still say, yeah, this happened, our dynamic has shifted, I still love this person. But I still feel like the love's still gonna be a little shifted. Even you still love them, but there's still that slight shift in it.
So there's conditions to somebody loving
Yes,
somebody.
I think there are conditions.
Talk your shit.
So based on you talking your shit,
I'm disagreeing.
So you're agreeing with her?
Yes.
What's your stance? Why do you feel that way?
Well, I think that way because of human nature and actions. I believe, very much so that unconditional love can exist, just not in America, just not in Western society. We don't have the social climate or, the social dynamic to support that. We are too materialistic. There's something always to gain. Our focus is on a plethora of things. We have too much at our disposal technologically and even in our own personal lives to give our significant other conditional love. Our phone gives us immediate stimulation. Whether we know it or not, subconsciously we compare that to our significant others, whether you admit to it or not. You know, oh, he's not giving me this, or oh, she's not giving me that. I gotta get the hell on. We hear it time and time again through our social media algorithms or through the TV shows that we watch. Though, you know, the bigger picture, it may be different. It actually may be, you know, more to life than that. But as far as we're concerned and what we can see at face value, conditional love right now, no, it's not possible. We don't have that capability.
So you made a comment saying that we're not capable in America. So you say that location dictates
Yes.
how one loves.
Yes.
Why do you think that?
Because the location is also dependent upon the culture. In this location, we have Western culture, technology, and what's popularized with what we can see in that technology dictates our social climate. The social climate dictates how we love each other, how we talk to each other, how we live with each other.
You realize that based off that statement, you're categorizing everybody based on what country they're born in.
That's the truth. You can consider the categorization, but it's the truth. People from a Eastern culture.
Is it the truth or is it your truth?
It's the truth. We'll take eating habits, for example. People of Eastern cultures, yes, they may have microwaves in the European continent or in the Eastern continent. However, are they conditioned or do they use it to their disposal for the sake of convenience as much as we do in Western culture? No, they do not. Because they don't look at convenience in the same way that we do. They consider not taking the extra mile to work as lazy. They have a consistent and prideful work culture in other Eastern countries versus what we have here.
No, I have to disagree with you on the context that location and saying westernized culture, we're not always a product of, like, yeah, there are certain aspects of our environment that dictate how we think and how we look at things, but it does not define how we love. In certain situations, there are people that require certain conditions in order for them to love, but that's people. It's a people thing, not an environment, not a westernized culture. America is a place where everybody has their own differentiation of culture. Some people are cultureless. So to sit here and say that because we live in a certain demographic or a certain location or are bound by a certain culture, this dictates how we love.
I disagree.
That seems rather conceited. To sit here and tell me, you as another person telling me how I think and how I love just because I'm born in this country and have been surrounded by westernized culture that it dictates how I love.
I disagree. Because at some point, you will do things the way you want to do personally, and at some point, when there hasn't been a consistency with success, you're not going to follow your previous philosophy. You're not going to continue to do it because of your frustration.
So you don't feel that nothing you say right now is considered conceited?
No.
Because
it's not
trying to judge somebody without really knowing them or really.
Because I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it to judge, hurt, or demean anybody. I'm saying it simply as this is what it is. Like, for instance, now you can put yourself out there. You can market yourself personally to an institution to get employment. However, what are they going to tell you? That's a great presentation. You did well. But if you did not apply electronically, what can they do for you? What will they do for you? You can be your own individual. You can love the way you want to love, but at some point in time, the conditions that are placed upon us because of pop culture and what is deemed as a social norm is going to resonate with you at some point. You can be raised to love, to be genuine, to have that unconditional love. But there's going to be something that makes you consider, that makes you say that I don't like this. They've done this consistently. I need to get out. The way we go about this now is I need to get out, rather than be relentless in trying to convince them to change, as you are relentless to succeed in other avenues monetarily.
What you are pretty much conveying is human behavior, human experience. Our experience dictates how we think, how we project, how we convey our thoughts, and even in regards to how we love. So to sit here and categorize how we all love based on things that we can't control as far as our environment or the culture that's around us, and that's not going to dictate how you love, because some of us grew up in a Christian household but can be atheists. Some of us grew up in many different types of household where our parents cling to a different culture that doesn't match our own.
That's what I was saying.
So to sit here is, but what you're saying is you're categorizing everybody based off the truth of your own nature, your own experience, which is not fair. To sit here and say that we're incapable of loving somebody unconditionally based on our location, our demographic, and a westernized culture. Some of us don't cling to the westernized culture. Some of us, like myself, question it. So for you to sit here and categorize it, or categorize us as a group, to sit here and say that we're incapable of doing something based on where we're from and what culture is around us, sounds rather conceited, because it's an assumption.
I'm not saying it to be conceited or an assumption. Before I pass it on to one of the ladies, I will say this. What you just said was a prime example. You can be raised in a quote-unquote Christian household, but the social climate and conditions now is very adamant against Christianity. It is very, even though it's contradicting, because they judge Christians as they were quote-unquote judged from their personal experience. That's a prime example of the environment and the social norm and pop culture around you taking influence on how you operate. That is a very good example. That sheds a lot of light on what I was trying to convey and come across to you, but I definitely want to hear the ladies' input at this point.
Asia, you haven't said your point of view. What do you think?
What do I think?
Yes, you.
Yes, you.
Remember, project. Tell us. We want to hear it loud and clear.
Okay, since you want to hear it loud and clear, I got you.
With the lazy voice.
Huh? Okay, okay. But I feel like you can love unconditionally. I just feel like there's like fucked up people out there that like have conditions to their love, but I don't agree. The only part I agree with is what Crystal said when Crystal said about when a situation happened, then that's when the love start to be questioned, and that's when people will have to like walk away from the situation or like come to a consensus. Because oftentimes when it comes to relationships and friendships, like if you love a friend so much but they keep hurting you, it's like sometimes you have to like break the line and just love them from a distance. And same way in relationships, like if your partner becomes a vegetable, it's like, do you want to like keep going, like keep doing for this person? Like, you know, like different things can like happen. So it's like, the only part I disagree with you about is like the location and the environment, because I feel like when it comes to love, it's like when you're born into this world, you're not gonna know what love is. The only people that's gonna teach you about love is your first teachers, and that's your parents. When you live in a broken household, all you know is you see that your mom or your dad is alone, you're with your parents is just like a single household or a broken household where you see both parents fighting, you see violence, and all you know is violence. You think that if somebody hits you, that's love, but it's not. Or sometimes you can grow up in a 2-parent household where you see love and you see how your dad, your mom treat each other, and that's what you want in a relationship. So I think it really depends on like who's teaching you how to love and how to properly be treated. Because it's like I stated, the first people you come in contact is your parents. Then the next people you contact, then you contact with other kids. So that's like when you see play with other kids, you may be in like a good household, but they're not. So they're gonna do things that they learn from home and bring it to school. So it really like, to me, it really depends. Because I didn't really see love in my household because I'm raised by a single mom. So it's like I have to find a person that can love me and I can give love back and treat me how I want to be treated. So it's like, it really, like I said, it really depends on the person and like how they want to be treated. So it's like, when I see how my mom gets treated, I don't want to be treated that way. I don't want a man that's only here for seasonal, and I want a man that's gonna take care of me just like I want him to take. That's just like I want to take care of him, and know like stuff that comes with it. So it's like you really, depending on the situation, you're like teaching yourself how to love somebody unconditionally. Because some people out here don't even know how to love. Some people think, or some people don't want to love and just want to be by themselves, but that's loving yourself.
So, the one thing I'll say in regards to what Crystal said, she said that certain situations happen in life where the love is questioned.
Yeah.
I think that that's the wrong outlook. I feel like certain situations happen in life where the love is tested,
Yeah.
not questioned. Love can be tested. You know the famous saying, love in sickness and health, for better or worse.
Right.
In order for you to love unconditionally, you have to meet these conditions. It's called adversity.
Yeah.
It's called adversity. So no love is not without its prerequisite tests, prerequisite trials and tribulations. So to sit here and say that the love will be questioned, if you have to question the love was never there from the jump. 9 times out of 10, if you haven't already having doubts or questions in regards to who you love, it's either 2 things: either the person that you with is not meant for you, or you don't truly know yourself, or what you like or what you love.
They just never loved them from the get go.
Nine times out of 10. But still, in regards to what you said, that love is dictated by your environment, by your household.
No, your ability to love, your ability to know what to do in love is dictated by that. But continue.
It's like Asia said, love is not something that we have a concept of. Children, yeah, we're sponges. We absorb what we see. But at the end of the day, we develop our own personalities. We develop our own sense of love, justice, ideas, and so forth. And based on our surroundings, our upbringing, what we see, we kind of create a formula of life. We become a creature of habit by society's standpoint. And we start seeing things that dictate how we think, dictate how we look at things. Some of us grew up in a toxic household. I, for one, grew up in a toxic household, just like Asia. Single mother. I seen good, the bad, the dirty. I seen, but I also seen love. I also seen aspects of love. So, but me personally, I didn't let that dictate how I looked at it. I figured it out for myself. Experience is the ultimate lesson. No, experience is the ultimate lesson. you learn it through your own experiences, not through other people's experience. You can't just sit here and live life based off assumptions of what other people are going through, because everybody's path is different.
I disagree.
What you go through and what I go through, and the lesson you learn versus the lessons I learn is two different things.
I agree with that.
We may walk down the same path, but the lesson you learn versus the lessons I learn may be two different things.
But I disagree that I can't learn from your path, but continue.
You can learn from my path. Yes, you can. You can learn. But the lessons that my path teach me versus the lessons that your path teach you, or what you convey from what I learned, is two different things. But Chris, you said you had something to say.
Oh, dang, I had it.
How the hell you drop the ball that fast?
That's my brain. I'm gone.
What?
Oh,
That really hurt.
Okay.
Okay, there we go.
why you gotta talk?
All you trying to do is help.
I said it really hurts my heart.
Stop talking. Every time you talk, I lose it. Stop talking.
Give it a moment.
Okay. There it is. I think what you're saying, I can't.
You're almost there.
I had it.
I'm giving her all she's got.
Oh my god.
The things that you can learn from somebody else's path. Yes, you can always learn from other people. But what you took from an experience versus what someone else may take from experience may be two completely different things. You know, we're talking about unconditional love. Like, we see other people going through things all the time. That might, seeing them go through something is gonna might affect your own personal experience. Like, growing up in my household, you know, I didn't necessarily see love. So I'm like, now like, okay, my mom says this is unconditional, but like, it shaped how I see love, how I see unconditional love. So I already know I'm not gonna love unconditionally. That may make me the villain, but like, I know, like Ada said, you gotta care for yourself. That's self-care. I know I'm not gonna just love you no matter what. Like you said, your love is gonna be tested. Yes, your love is going to be tested. But how much are you going to take? What conditions are
The breaking point.
I say to respond to what you just said. As lovers or as pursuers of love, we're definitely flawed.
Yeah.
Nobody is perfect. Nobody has a sense of self when they're pursuing another person. You know, we're flawed. We're flawed beings, and love is very flawed in how we pursue it. Sometimes we can pursue love with lust. Sometimes love can be toxic. There's certain dynamics that coincide with how you love, but it's understanding the lessons of those that you have loved, have had a relationship, that makes you understand or even comprehend the aspect of loving somebody. But the thing is, when you love somebody unconditionally, there's certain dynamics, certain conditions that you're willing to put up with. So like, if there are certain conditions to, let's say like you guys say you can only love under certain conditions. We all know that there are certain conditions that we can't accept. Like maybe you don't like to be yelled at. You don't like people that are not on time. You don't like people that don't know how to cook. It's certain dynamics. Abusive, verbal. It's certain dynamics that we're not willing to tolerate. But when you love somebody unconditionally, all that shit goes away. All that shit goes away. It's like I can speak from my experience. I can't speak from y'all experience. I'm not gonna sit here and categorize y'all. But I'm gonna speak on my experience. When it came down to loving somebody, when I found that my habit of certain things that they do, maybe they didn't say something I like, maybe they didn't do something I like. When all that kind of dissipated and I just kind of felt myself wanting to stay with them regardless of certain things I didn't like, that's when the whole idea of love started to change. I started to comprehend it. Because it's certain things that another person will be willing to put up with, but for the person that you really care about, you really pull up with it because the thought of losing them hurts you more than the thought of dealing with them. And that's a certain aspect that people can't comprehend. That's the unconditional aspect of love that people that are not in the mix can't comprehend. Because when you truly love somebody, you're no longer a creature of habit. You break habit by loving somebody unconditionally because you can't bear the thought of losing them.
Okay, gotta make this disclaimer so people gonna take it the wrong way. Yes, you can love somebody unconditionally, but for the ones that's in abusive relationships, get out of it. That's not, you're not just because of a person, like, when I'm talking about abusive relationships, y'all know what I'm talking about. Like, when I'm talking about degrading, the gaslight, the manipulation, hitting, like, everything that's under abuse, we're not saying that you should stay in those relationships just because you love that person unconditionally. That is not love.
The proof is in the pudding.
That is not love. That is a position of power. Somebody that feels like they have power over you and like to treat people. They just like to what's the word? It's people who feels like they have all the power on you to bully people that they think are weak. But you're not weak. You're stronger than that, and you should leave out of that relationship immediately. We're talking about loving unconditionally, like real true love. It goes in part of how to be treated, how you know like what's good treatment and what's bad treatment. Abuse is not good treatment.
Of course.
Nobody deserves that. So do not take our words out of context and think that when you're in a relationship and you think that you need to keep loving somebody, you gotta stay, and it's not good, leave immediately. Get out. Find help. Go to the shelter. Go to a safe family member that you can trust. Get out of those type of relationships. That's not what we're talking about. But proceed, my husband.
That shit is crazy. I felt like Case Delicious for a second. I don't know how they can get that from that song. You just mad cause your ass is old. I understand you was not mad. I don't know how you can even get that from what I said. Like she said, no. We don't approve of abusive relationships, mental abuse, any aspects of the full 9 yards. We do not approve of that here. Definitely, if you're in that situation, seek help. Find your local therapist, find your local friend, and get help. Get out of it. Do not confuse when we talk about love and unconditional love. It can confuse that with abuse. Will allow somebody to abuse you. We do not approve that here. Full 9 yards. Yeah, we do not approve that here. But getting back to what I was saying, when it comes down to loving somebody unconditionally, like, to love somebody unconditionally is to break habit. To break away from certain things that usually you want to approve of, but the thought of losing somebody hurts more than the thought of dealing with somebody. And certain people want to understand what I mean by that because they haven't, their whole idea of love hasn't really been accessible to the person that they're with. So there's certain aspects of life where, like Crystal said, your love can be questioned, and there's certain aspects of life where your love can be tested. But this brings me to my next question. When it comes down to the aspects of loving somebody unconditionally or loving somebody conditionally, is it gender oriented or is it based on the individual? I'll ask Martin the question first.
Well,
Do you think it wavers based on the person's gender, or is it based on the situation or the individual?
I think the conditions and the situation is based on the gender.
So is it gender oriented? Are you saying it's
Definitely gender oriented, because I mean, based on especially the dynamic of what's being pushed in this country, especially and how things are consistently going now, it's definitely gender oriented for the simple fact that a stay-at-home significant other who's a female will be, tolerated more than an individual who's a male staying at home and not generating income. If the time comes where the woman is definitely generating more, it's going to be portrayed that the individual male is either insecure or undeserving of her time, effort, and space, and will be asked or pressured or, you know what I'm saying, convinced that she can do better and to leave said individual who is a male. Versus, you know, a male who can, you know, at least stand 10 toes down financially or provide some type of service in exchange versus fixing ailments of the house itself, cosmetics of the house, things that break, or something like vehicle-wise. He has to do more than just be able to, you know, change the tire, change the oil, you know what I'm saying, change the brakes. There has to be something of service and of value to honor things that would be for the female's convenience.
So to elaborate, are you saying that men are the only ones that are capable of loving a woman unconditionally, and women are the only ones that are capable of loving somebody with conditions?
Women outside of this country, I'm gonna stand 10 toes down on it. I really don't care who disagree. Women outside of this country are capable of, in theory, loving a man unconditionally. Yes.
So let's attack the issue. Why do you feel like women in America are incapable of loving men unconditionally?
Because for the simple fact that the way this country is designed, we run off capitalism. You cannot ignore that. You can disagree with it as much as you like. We are in an era of technological convenience and advancement. We no longer operate off the income of a nuclear family. We operate off of what is convenient, feasible, and has multiple avenues to give us comfort. That comfort comes from financial literacy and gain.
Mm-hmm.
So, for the simple fact, if a guy is not providing that for a female in this country, and she has, you know, the leisure to not stress about it and not take the responsibility of her own, if she has to do that, she is not going to see the value in you. For the simple fact that there is a mixed and blurred line with the current conditions with the incorporation of the nuclear family. A lot of people don't want to accept the fact that the nuclear family is gone, and now that the nuclear family is gone, the current economic conditions are kicking people's asses. We are getting our ass whooped left and right, day by day. So for the simple fact that they can't let go of the fact that you cannot survive and operate independently in the household. So a lot of people, women in general in this country, even in times I've seen on different podcasts, take offense to that. If he is not willing to do that, that is generated as or projected as, oh, he's not trying, he don't see the value in me, he don't give a fuck about me, blase, blase, blah. I don't need him. He's not important. He can't provide. He can't do this. He can't do that. So why do I need him when I can do it myself? I'd rather pay 100% of the bill myself. If he is not able to produce an environment where I can be a woman of leisure. And not only have I heard a woman say that via podcast, I've even seen a lady who has her own platform, who has said such things about black males specifically. Her name is Cynthia G, but yeah, she goes on tirades about that specifically towards a racial demographic. But I think all in all, we need to come in terms to get around the situation with the fact that we don't have a society that can operate off of the nuclear family, meaning the man goes to work, brings back all the money. On the average, at least. Unless you're a doctor, lawyer, or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You can't do that. And a man's life and humanity has to exist outside of that first to be loved properly and unconditionally. And honestly and truly, I think a lot of women are smart enough to understand that. I think a lot of women do understand that. But in this society, in this country, they don't give a fuck.
So,
And I'm gonna end it on that.
so ladies, do you agree with anything he just said?
No.
You said a lot, so.
And I can speak for myself that I would honestly disagree.
I know.
I would honestly disagree because I feel like it's not gender based. It's not gender based at all. There are certain people that are conditional lovers, and there are some people that are unconditional lovers. It's not a gender oriented thing. To sit here to categorize all women and say that they are incapable of loving somebody just because they live in this country, it's not just conceited. Not just conceited by every definition of the word. It's downright ignorant.
I'll take that.
But it's not my point of view that matters at this point. Ladies, do you have anything to say in regards to what he just said?
Before that, I will try to clarify. It is more so women born in 75 and up. Women of yesteryear, yester era, not so much. But I now give up the floor. I yield the floor.
Where should I begin? Where should I begin?
Well, start with whether you agree or disagree. Let's go ahead and state your stance.
Okay. To me, I disagree. I feel like the whole nuclear family type thing is complete bullshit because I had to learn about it in school, and from what I see in textbooks, I feel like that is geared towards white people. That's all. I'm gonna just stop right there with that. That's to me. I feel like in today's time, yes, we do live in a capitalist society. Everybody knows that. That's true. But I feel like there are more women who are working, who are sustaining themselves, and try to break away from stigmatisms and norms that has been placed on women. And I feel like when it comes to like providing for the household, like I seen women, like I know women within my sorority and not in my sorority, I know women who knows about cars and they fix their own cars. So to me, I feel like when you categorizing saying like all women, I feel like that's not fair because it's like, then I would say there may be a specific group of women that think that way, but not all women think that way. I seen, like going back to cars, I seen women fix their own cars and don't because they learned from their dad. And what I'm saying is that what it stems from is going back to people's childhoods, going back to like if you have a 2-person household and depending on what you see. Because I'm pretty sure if I was in a 2-parent household, I'm pretty sure my dad would try to teach me how to do cars so I can learn for myself. But I don't have that luxury. I came from a single parent household. So it's like, I wouldn't categorize everybody because it's like, everybody's household is different. Everybody's upbringing is different. Everybody's experiences is different. They could be the same, but what we said earlier, what I could take from my experience and what you take from your experience can be 2 different things. So I wouldn't say don't put down women that sustain themselves because there are some, like I said, some women, I've seen learn how to fix houses. I've seen women learn how to fix cars. I've seen women know how to pave their own fucking driveway. So it's like, to me, when it comes to loving unconditionally, I don't think it's gender based because the same thing you're saying, it could be the same for men. I hear men talk about, well, if my woman can't cook, I don't want to marry her. I would ask that nigga, can you cook? But what's confusing about that is you want a woman in the kitchen, but in a career field is dominated by men. So that doesn't make any sense to me. that cooking is supposed to be women, it's gendered by women, but when it comes to a profession, it's dominated by men.
I mean,
There's
we
men out there
teach-
that can cook.
Our mamas definitely teach us how to cook. We can be the best, like career wise, but
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, but you can cook as well. Some men don't even know how to wipe properly. Some men don't even know how to wash their own ass. So it's like, if you want to do it gender based, you might as well just do both sides, because
of course,
there are some
why not?
people that want, some people that like women too, like that want stuff that they want to be provided for. But we don't live in that society now today because of what? Inflation?
More than
Okay,
just
no.
inflation.
Well, yeah, that. So I wouldn't say like women are not capable of loving. I feel like you might as well just go for both genders then.
I wouldn't say
But
y'all
to
are
me-
incapable.
But to me, I feel like I don't think it's gender anymore. I feel like it's based on the individual and the people you have in your fucking circle, and that what dictates who's for you and who's not for you, and what the person can bring to you and what you can bring to them. I think it's individuals, because if it's like gender oriented, then we might as well just like bring both sides together.
No,
But-
we definitely could, but I'm just specifically speaking about Western culture.
Okay.
Western
So,
culture.
Crystal, what do you think?
So,
First of all, do you agree or disagree?
I'm also gonna disagree, but I'm gonna agree with what Asia said though. It is based on the individual
So you
And-
basically disagree.
and how you see that person. Because like I said, only speaking from me, when I'm looking for like someone to date, I'm not looking for that guy's like money. I don't care. Like I don't need your money. Nothing you can bring to me. Whatever. Like that's not important. I don't need your money. I got my own money. I can do for myself. If I'm pursuing someone, that's what I want you to be there for me. Like it's more of an emotional and a mental thing. I don't physically want nothing from you. Because one thing I was taught as a child, like Andrew says, based on what you see growing up, one thing I was taught is never let a man hold anything over you. Like, yeah, y'all can have your cute little joint bank account, but always have your own. Like, I'm still like, yes, I can love you, but I'm not loving you for your money and what you can give to me. If you're gonna love me, you need to love me for everything else. Like, okay, if I give you money, that's a whole nother issue on its own. I'm not trying to give you money. Money should not be a factor. I don't think money should be a factor when it comes to love, in my opinion. Just because money is a universal thing. Everybody speaks money.
I think that's just an example we use today.
Right. Yeah. Money is a thing. Money is a universal thing. You gotta have money to some extent. Is it the only thing that you need to have? No, because there's so many other things that you need to have besides money.
It's just a tool of provision.
Right. So.
Like I feel like when it comes to love, I feel like it's about it's like I said, sharing. To me, it's sharing like each side's burden, like letting the other person in. That's what, to me, that's big, because it's like financially, I feel like when it comes to finances, I feel like both parties should be able to sustain themselves and to sustain together. I feel like when it comes to love, it's like togetherness. Like, if I'm going through something emotionally, I want my partner to be there to like hold me if I'm crying, a shoulder to lean on. Like, if I fall, they're gonna pick me back up. Just like if they fall, I pick them back up. That's what I feel like. That's what love and unconditional is. Like, you being there, you genuinely. There's a difference. Like what she said about holding over you. I feel like when you hold stuff over a person, you don't love that person, because why you hold that? Like, to me, that's feel like that you have something against that person. When you love genuinely, it's about like
I also think that if I'm gonna let you have the floor, babe. If your thoughts are that that person is going to hold that over you, you don't love them in the first place. You're already thinking against your best interest and your significant other. But continue.
No, what I mean by
I was just responding to that and her. Like, that
No.
statement and her.
no, that's not me not loving that person in the first place. It's me thinking like, why is this person holding a lot of stuff over me? It's like it's little instances that you pick up, like going back to like abuse and stuff. If somebody holding a whole bunch of stuff over you, the first, second, third time, maybe the first 2 times, you're not gonna catch it. But when it becomes repetitive, that's when you're like, this person is supposed to love me. I'm loving them, but they're holding stuff over me. So it's kind of questioning like, why are you holding stuff over me if it's supposed to be genuine? Love is supposed to be genuine. You want to help people genuinely, not for like something that you're trying to, looking for like a gift. It's like people nowadays looking for something to give, like holding their hand out. Like, I did this for you. Now you need to give me something back.
Yeah.
That's the capitalistic society.
That's capitalistic because like when you love somebody and you doing all these things for them and you got your hand holding out, you're not really doing it because you love them. It's like you're just doing it just to do it now. Versus like genuinely loving a person and going through everything with a person. Like I see a couple on YouTube, which I really love, and I forgot the name of their channel. I watch how his wife go through a lot with her pregnancy and the ups and the downs. Like when she's not feeling herself, you know what he do? He compliments her any fucking ways. Baby, you look beautiful. What you talking about? But most men don't want to do that. They be like, I mean, I don't know why you feel that way. You're pregnant, so I mean that's just your mood swings. That's
What
that,
can we? What
No.
proof of that? Like the bigger picture of that. Like why? If we talking about generalizations here, y'all agree that generalizing, as what you just said was on my part was wrong or conceited. Why would you say most guys don't do that? Why? Like, if we're looking at the bigger picture,
From your standpoint, I can agree. To say most guys don't do that, that is categorization. To say most people don't do that would be a better term to describe.
Okay.
I wouldn't even say, but it's just like I say a lot of stuff to make y'all think. What proof do we have other than what we see on a screen, whether it be that one or the one we holding out?
First of all, half of the shit you see on TV is bullshit.
yeah.
So what makes the cell phone different?
Let's keep it a buck.
May I?
Yeah, go ahead.
What I mean by is most people, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to like being in a marriage, when it comes to parenthood, it's about sharing it. And what I mean by like sharing it, I mean like sharing like everything down to like emotions, mental, physical, like just being there for a person versus like thinking like, well, since I'm a man, I gotta do A, B, C, and D. Because in nuclear family, from what I see, the woman doing every fucking thing. Yeah, the man going out getting bread, providing, supporting all this stuff. But the woman is by herself, taking care of the kids, making sure they schedules, making sure they got bath time, making sure they do their homework, making sure they cook dinner, not only for them, for the husband too, for herself. The reason why I don't agree with the nuclear family stuff, it makes it feels like each party, including the man, is alone. Like, that's like, the woman, yeah, she can take care of the house. You gotta clean this bitch. You gotta scrub it down, dust, pick up kids' toys, breastfeeding, all of that. Grocery shopping. You got grocery shopping. When you take kids to the store, you know they're gonna run around and shit. The man not there, he working. So I don't agree with like the nuclear family. I feel like it has to be like a certain level of like helping each other. Like if I'm cleaning the kitchen, go put those kids to bath and braid bed. That's like helping each other out. Or like this, y'all both can help with bath time, get the kids to bed, and y'all both can clean the kitchen. Why does it have to be like, since the man came home and he working, he tired all day, he's not gonna do anything, but the wife been doing everything before a man gets home.
The environment and working conditions are different.
I must retort what you just said, that there are men out there that raise kids by themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
No,
the working conditions are different.
Like, no, I'm talking about like his perspective on like a nuclear family. Like, the nuclear family, how it's broken down is the man goes out and make the money, the woman stays home, taking care of everything. That's why I don't agree with it, because it's like,
The nuclear family is just different. The working conditions are just different. That's all.
yeah, but shouldn't it be, how is it gonna still be a nuclear family if both parties are working together? That's not a nuclear family. That's like that's totally different. A nuclear family is like the man is outside the house. Like, literally textbook saying is like the man is outside the house, the woman's inside the house,
You
taking
can't
care
be
of
two places
everything.
at one time. That's why you have to pick and choose where exactly you're going to be stationed.
You can't be two places at one time.
No.
You don't realize what you just said is bullshit.
So you
That's
telling
the real
me
shit.
that
No,
my husband,
That's bullshit.
so you
If
telling
you
me,
want a mink and red bottoms, I can't have my ass sitting at home and not working to go get it.
So you said women can't have that same mindset. You think that you and your wife can't both go to work and then come home?
It don't work.
It does work.
The social dynamic of that
It
shit
does
not
work. You
But-
know why? You
wanna
wanna
know
know
why it
why it
doesn't?
works? You wanna know why it works? Because people are out there doing it.
Yeah, with a divorce rate of 80%, they're definitely doing it.
Yeah, you do divorce rate, right?
Bro, they're not. It's not
There are
successful.
plenty of people out there doing what you're saying that they're not doing.
it's like they're
20%
literally,
of the time, I give you that. It works.
there's literally people.
Statistics, so the statistics you referring to are used to falsify the narrative of what it is.
Is that?
Not
I
used to
seen.
falsify. It's just
Yes.
that is used as a means to help
You
people
can't
who are
base-
not
you can't
who
base
don't
an
have
opinion
marriage
on
as their
statistics.
best interest.
You can't base opinion off statistics that are used to falsify narratives on everyday media.
I don't think
So you
that
believe
it's made
everything
to
you hear on
falsify
the
narratives.
news. So you believe everything you hear on the news. For perfect example,
My news doesn't come
Fox
from-
News is very Republican, and they don't talk about anything that's really going on in society that we can
I
visually
don't
see.
I don't base my information based off of what I see on TV.
You just said you did.
No,
No, he said.
statistically speaking, that's that the news don't. No news network puts out
He
statistics.
mentioned what he saw, what you see on TV.
I mentioned that in hindsight of it's not real. That's why I said something about TV. Like it's not reality.
So you can't visually see the shit that you saying in regards to only women outside this country are capable of loving somebody unconditionally. You, a person that has never been outside the country, that's never been to Europe, never been to France. You know what I'm saying? Never been to France, never been to Italy, never even been to Australia, never been to Asia, to sit here and tell me with a clear look on his face, with confidence, that those women are only capable of loving unconditionally,
Yes.
while the women here are not.
Because they don't have access to the resources that we do in the same capacity that we do.
How do you sit here
But
at this
how-
level of confidence and sit here in front of all of us and say wholeheartedly that women here are incapable of loving unconditionally without looking like, one, a jackass, two, ignorant, three, conceited?
Because I'm not saying it as a means of insult or demean or to be condescending or belittle them.
But I'm saying, but it sounds condescending. It sounds like you're
If
demeaning
I'm
them.
telling you that there are bears outside of this house that are going to kill you the moment you leave, that's just the reality of the situation. I'm not telling you that to be like, oh, you have no chance of survival because you're incapable of survival.
Crystal,
I'm just simply saying that if your ass goes outside of this house, you have a less chance of living a prolonged life
so Asia,
because there are obstacles
Asia
there.
Crystal, based on what he just said, do you feel like he's categorizing you? Based on what he just said alone, that women in this country are not capable of loving somebody unconditionally. You, two women being from this country, do you feel like he's categorizing you?
I think he is categorizing women in this country, saying that we only love conditionally
Yeah.
for what the man can provide.
Does that sound demeaning?
It does sound mean. When there are plenty of women in other countries who will literally only love conditionally with the men as well. Like specifically,
I'm not saying it don't happen.
Specifically, I'm thinking like 90 Day Fiance. They want something. They want that green card. They want the money. They're only gonna talk to men when they can do something for them.
Yeah, and they also have a predetermined ideology of how life in this country goes because of propagated media.
Have you been everywhere in this country? Have you been to all the states? Have you been? Because every state operates differently. Every state's culture is different. How people operate in Florida ain't how people operate in Georgia. How people operate in California and how people operate here. Everybody is different in other places. So to sit here and categorize people as you are clearly doing, demeaning women of this country as you are clearly doing,
I give you differences,
and trying to rationalize and objectify it in a way that you're not doing.
Let's be real. Okay, there are differences amongst the state, but the differences are not significant.
You are categorizing women of this country, and you're demeaning them, and they're trying to sit here and look at these women's face that are clearly telling you that you are, and say that you are.
That's just like saying that shit. That's like me trying to deny the shit that she said about men not wiping properly. I'm supposed to be offended for the simple fact that this nigga's not out here wiping their ass.
But the difference is
it's true.
The difference is what she said and how she conveyed it versus what she said. Some men. You said all women in westernized culture of America are incapable.
Let's be real. She can say some men. She can dress it up nice, but let's be real. The hygiene statistics between men and women
are women.
If we compare statistically
how
a well-wiped ass is between a man and a woman,
you just said.
Let's just be real. Is a woman not going to have a better wiped ass? Am I supposed to be sad because niggas are not out here wiping their asses?
Think about what he just said.
It is the truth.
Think about what he just said. He said that women.
Why are we talking about white asses?
I'm just using that as an example.
He said women of this country are incapable of loving somebody unconditionally. So you telling me that my wife right here can only love me with conditions? That's what you are saying right now as we speak.
I'm saying that 20% of the time there is a guaranteed outcome of you not being loved properly. Whether she does that or not, it's solely up between the two of you. But to ignore the reality we live in is crazy. If I know that there's a 70% chance of me getting mauled by a bear when I walk outside your door, why the hell would I either walk outside the door or not prepare myself?
Statistical analysis does not always represent the truth.
I'll give you that.
But you just said 20%. You said 20%. What about the 80? What about the 80%?
The 80% has been out here goddamn slicing marriages up.
Hey, think about what you're saying. I really want you to understand what you're saying. You said women are incapable in this country of loving somebody unconditionally.
I said the vast majority.
You can't see what you're saying is conceited and ignorant. There's a problem.
You're taking it as if
it's not me. It's not me taking it.
Everybody is taking it as if this is my declaration and what I say because it's my word is fact. No, it is not.
That's exactly what you're saying.
No, it's not. You're taking it as if this is my personal.
He said earlier in this episode that
you're taking it as if I'm saying this is my personal.
Hey.
I asked
one
you.
at a time.
I asked you, is this your experience or is it truth? You said it is the truth.
It is.
How can you say
how I feel about it and how I view it?
But no, it's your experience.
No, it's not my experience.
It's your experience because you can't speak for every woman in this country.
It is my observation. It is not my
experience.
Speak
for every woman in this country. You can't tell Asia how to love, let alone how I can tell her how to love.
And I'm not trying to.
But by categorizing every woman in this country, you are.
I'm not.
How could you not acknowledge that? You said every woman in this country.
Actions that are shown.
Every woman in this country is incapable of loving somebody unconditionally. That is what you said.
Western culture.
True or false?
It is true.
True or false? Is that what you said? Yes or no?
True. Yes.
So, Asia, Crystal, based on what he said as his indirect truth, does it not seem as though he is categorizing you guys?
I'm not categorizing them. I didn't say
Crystal
that they were
already,
part of the 80%.
no, Crystal already said that she feels like you were categorizing her.
So I said that they are part of the 80%.
You didn't have to say it. You say everyone in this
Yes,
country.
I did.
You
I
said,
didn't have to
are
say
they
it.
not in this country?
Yeah, but did I say they're part of the 80%?
You didn't have to say it.
I do.
You didn't have to say
I do
it.
have to say that.
You didn't
because
have to
you
say
have
it.
to say what you mean.
If I say
and
every
mean what
nigga
you
on
say.
this earth is gonna die, you think I'm not talking about you? You just gonna assume that I'm not talking about you? If I say every nigga on this earth is gonna die,
I would tell you to elaborate. I gotta be sure what you mean by every nigga's gonna die. What do you mean? Every nigga's gonna die at some point? Every nigga's gonna die in a couple seconds? Every nigga's gonna die 5 minutes from now? Tell me what you mean.
this nigga's clueless.
But
This nigga's clueless.
it remains true. There's truth to the fact that, yes, every nigga in this country is going to die. There's an increment of time when niggas are going to die. I'm not going to take offense to that. Because it's true. I'm not taking it as that's your personal declaration and it's true because you say this fact. No, it is simply an observation that is a part of our lives.
It's like I'm talking to a brick wall.
Okay.
You're not talking to a brick wall. You just not accepting the fact that I'm not putting my feelings into the situation. I'm not trying to look at things outside of factual and statistical view for the sake of
And that's the problem.
avoiding.
That's the problem. You know what he just said, right? I'm not looking at things based on factual or statistical views.
No, I'm looking at
If
things.
it's not factual or statistical, then why are you looking at it?
No, you didn't hear me correct. I said I'm looking at things.
I didn't hear you correctly.
You didn't hear me.
You didn't convey it correctly.
I don't think you heard me correctly. I look at things from a factual, statistical view for the sake of, and not personal, for the sake of avoiding somebody feeling some type of way.
Let me go ahead and apologize. We're talking a lot of shit with each other, and you two are not really being included. So, at this moment, Asia and Crystal, how do you feel on everything you just said? You guys have the floor.
I don't think there's too much more that can be said. You know, there's truth behind what everybody said. Like, yes, it generates. Like, some men can love unconditional, some women can love unconditional. Some men can't, some women can't. It's just a person-to-person basis. Like, we never know who and how they can love until they love, really. So, that's all. That's the most I can say about this.
Asia?
I just say I am offended.
Of course.
Bless you. Oh, thank you.
I said, bless you. That was clearly a cough.
Oh,
But, continue.
I don't believe in statistics because I feel like it shows like you can look at statistics all day, but it's like it has to be like a why factor behind what you see.
Okay, I agree.
Like, I'm not gonna look at statistics like that's like Fox News showing. Fox News can say 80% of households going into divorces, and then you'll end up believing that, but you're not gonna question like, hold up, that statistic is kind of high. Why not look into why our divorce rates are high?
Now we get
Why
somewhere.
it's to me it's more so of the why factor, not the statistics factor, because we know for a fact that blogs, news outlets, and different things can like make up statistics just to gain money for their own benefit. So I wouldn't rely on statistics. I would rely on.
Hold that thought for another subject. Keep going.
I would rely on like.
I don't think he gets it.
No, I do get it. The bigger picture that she's saying, question why is that being portrayed? Don't base your center of thinking based off of a numerical value that doesn't have a broad range of research behind it.
But
why? Because statistics can only go so far. I get exactly what you're saying.
But that is.
But that's a subject for another day.
But that's what
I'm
exactly.
looking at it from face value.
Let her finish, please.
But that's what exactly you just did.
I understand what I did in this episode because it was for face value.
Mm.
That was for face value. This content is for face value. Looking at the bigger picture behind stuff, that's a subject for another day. Continue.
We'll just say this. Those in the comments, if you agree with Amari, please express so. If you agree with what we're saying, please express otherwise. Go ahead, Asia.
They're gonna agree with you more.
I would just say, like, I wouldn't follow statistics. I'd rather, like, hear the people's stories, like, what made you want to divorce this person and, like, why? I don't think divorce rates is that high because I've been seeing, like, a lot of black couples going successful and showing black love. And to me, I feel like that's succeeding. And some of them, like, explain, like, how to love and what works for them. Like, what we all say, I said, to me, it's like, it's based off of individuals, not based off of gender. Because if we just sit here based off of gender, you're not going to get to know the person individually. But at some point, you have to get to know the person individually, so you take out gender. It's, to me, I feel it's not gender based anymore because, like, if you're in the condition of trying to love somebody with conditions, like if they can cook and all this other stuff, but what if you fall in love with a person that can't cook? That erases your conditions because, like, you got to know somebody off of a personal level versus off of the things that you want. Because when it comes to relationship, it's not like about you anymore, it's about both parties. So it's like when it comes to love unconditionally, like I said, it's not, to me, it's not gender based, it's more so based on the individual because you can have conditions all you want, but there's gonna be a person that's out there for you that's gonna break all those conditions that you so-called want to hold on to. But you end up finding the person that can go against your conditions and now, like, can rewire your thinking, like, damn, I've been having these conditions. I found a person that goes against it and I gel with them. You're going to be together with that person. So I don't think it's, like, gender-based. I feel like everything that's, like, there's a lot of stuff to me when it comes to gender people trying to generalize relationships. I feel like a lot of that has been debunked. Like the whole cooking, cleaning, doing laundry. You're already doing that when you by yourself. So you telling me, like, you're gonna see a woman in college walking down the street, hey, come cook for me, come clean for me, take out this trash, fold my clothes. No, you're doing it by yourself. So it's like, how's it any different when you're together in a household? You're still doing the same stuff.
Because subconsciously they're looking to alleviate things that keep them from focusing on work outside the household.
But that's
initially they are trying to accommodate of giving a woman who's going to be a helpmate the option of leisure of not being in the workforce.
Yeah,
they just have a bad way of communicating. But yeah.
But the thing is like when you say, like, a person can't be in two places at once, then why get in a marriage in the first place? If you coming home from work and you don't want to be my husband, then what? I might as well just, it's like the whole situation, like people be in a marriage and they're single parents.
It's just how you approach it. I don't think that they wouldn't want to be your husband.
Yeah, but if you say like a person can't be in two places at once, you're already the work person, and then now you gotta turn that person off to be at home. And most people don't know how to do that. Like, I feel like when it comes to two people and their work, like there's literally like a lot of relationships where there are people who are both working in a household, have kids, and still able to manage it. It's like going back to, like, it depends on the individual. It depends on, like, what this individual brings to the table to you, their character, their morals, their everything, that you see, like, a future with this person. So it's like, if we just gonna do it based on the genders, then I might as well just pick a guy off the street, marry
Those should
them.
be prereqs like with dating.
Prereqs?
Prerequisite for dating, like with it like dating conversation before you even get the marriage though.
Yeah, but that's one thing. One thing is like you see a person on a date. On a first date, you want to look your fucking best. So of course you're gonna be nervous and have like ask questions and stuff, but actually spending time with a person, living with a person, it's a totally different ball game. That's way different than like seeing a person face to face each and every time. That's different. When it comes to like spending time with a person, going somewhere for a long person, being in that person's space, like every single day, seeing like their multiple different sides of them, that's different. And it goes back to based on the individual. Like knowing who this person is. So I don't like the categorization of all women because all this categorization has been debunked. There are women out there that's doing marvelous things. Women who break norms that usually be like in men's spaces and they come into men's spaces. Same way when it's in women's spaces, men come into women's spaces.
I think a lot of men would agree that that's good. We don't really care about stuff like that. Like if you can build a bridge, like we're not about to shit on you. Like
yeah, but
join the
sometimes
team. We're glad you're here. Welcome. We need help. Like
I disagree.
what?
I disagree with that statement. But go ahead.
But it's
name one woman that has like in your space that has come to work in your space that you have personally shitted on.
Men will shit on women for just being in manager positions, being in positions of leadership.
yes.
That's
It's an issue.
me and the people I even work around don't even
Perfect
think about.
example, Stacey Abrams. People have a problem with her being in power.
They have a problem because
Just because she was a woman alone.
she was a woman and she's black. Every time a black woman
That
comes
was
into
also because she was black, but continue.
no,
because she
it's
was
black
she
and
was
a woman. Like a black woman is
I put black women in
black
Supreme
women
Court
is like
justice position.
what it's intersectionality. Like when you're a woman and you're black, it's a lot of disadvantages, especially when it comes to leadership. Because they be like, if a black woman get into leadership, you know she's gonna have her attitude. They always go for like the angry black woman. They always go for the villain, like make the black woman a villain.
Yeah.
And say like, she has an attitude, she's angry, she's bitter, she's this, she's that. Why does she need to be in leadership? Same way when people be like, why y'all want to have a woman for president? Because she can start a war. But there's been countless wars that start by men. That doesn't make no type of fucking sense when people
They
make
trying
that.
to convey that she'll
Not
start
a
a war
woman.
off of
Women make
impulse.
that dumbass argument.
They're saying that she'll do it off of impulse. They're not completing the sentence.
But there's been countless times where there are corrupted men in power back in the day that started shit.
Yeah, and
And guess what? Guess what?
got behind it.
Guess what? Who's starting shit right now? Men in power, going to people's countries, trying to start shit over land. But I seen there are women that are presidents in other countries and they flourishing. So that's a debunk in itself. Women can be in power. Women can be in leadership. It's just that there's stigmatism that be placed that women don't want to do this. Women don't want to get their hands dirty. But I seen countless women getting their hands dirty. I see countless women that be detectives and be a doctor, be a chef, work on cars, work on houses, different things like that. So I wouldn't categorize all women. It's true, there are women that want to be provided for. That's a small percentage, but that doesn't mean that's all women like that.
So, kind of wrap this up, man. Everybody kind of give their closing arguments on their stance and all this stuff. You want to start with, I guess, Crystal? What's your closing arguments?
Closing arguments. Unconditional love goes on a person-to-person basis. I don't think we can generalize that everyone can or can't. It's based on person, individuals, and situations. And ain't nothing wrong with no matter what way it goes. And that's my case. I rest your honor.
Mr. Rayshaw.
I definitely agree slightly with what you all said, the collective said. It exists in a smaller quantity, which is what I was trying to convey to you all. I'm not saying that what you are saying is false and that it doesn't exist. It just does not exist in the greater magnitude. At least in this country, and at least what is conveyed through our environment and our societal actions. Though she made a good point, I understand the grand scheme of things is to produce the negative for more control and a better ran capitalistic society. I definitely understand that. However, that's a subject for another day that I would, my message would be conveyed better in a more whimsical or conspiracy theory episode.
Right. And Huff? Closing arguments?
Closing argument. Love is love. Find a person that you can gel with and not just anybody on the street, literally speaking. But just know how to love yourself, how you want to be treated, and just find a person that's for you, that will love you unconditionally and you love them unconditionally. Under genuine pretenses. Gotta be genuine. And do not mistake love for abuse. Wait, hold on. Do not mistake abuse as love.
What's up?
Know how to get out of those situations. There are plenty of people that will literally help you. Husband?
Well, man, you guys heard it. You guys heard it here. Lovely conversation. You know, me, myself. Of course, you already know. Love is unconditional for me. There are conditions to it, depending on the person, not the gender. But regardless of what you believe in, know that love exists and the unconditional love exists, and it's out there for everybody. And you have to choose who you want to be with, but first you must know yourself. In order to really pursue love yourself. But like I said, this was a lovely conversation. Crystal, thank you so much for joining us. We hope to have you again for future episodes. Potential interest here, right, fellas?
For sure.
Give her a nice little hand for joining us. Thank you so much, Crystal. And for our viewers out there, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. And thank you for joining us on Prolific Group Podcast. I'm Dexter Prejean.
I'm Aja.
I'm Crystal.
And I'm Amari Rakestraw. Be sure to hit that bell button.
See you next time.